Welcome, 8th graders. You are on your last day of this first design notebook of Intro to Design, just doing a recap of how we use the design process and what it is. So today you're going to be watching a Design Squad video. You've seen a couple of these in 6th and 7th grade. And this episode is Skunked. And you'll have two teams competing against each other. They use the design process, trying to get to make a better product. And so hopefully you'll pick up on some things they do that are going through the design process, and you'll answer the response questions after watching the video. After that, then you're going to jump to the evaluating questions at the bottom of your design notebook. There's about 8 questions for you to answer, and other than that, it'll be finishing up your design notebook with answering the essential question and the daily summary. So you have the video and quite a few questions to answer in your design notebook. One of them is your essential question today. What does it take to solve problems? And so hopefully watching the Design Squad video will help you get an idea of how to answer that one. And so we're going to look at the design notebook right now. So it's only a 3-day design notebook just to kind of get us back into what the design process is and the design notebook. So reminder that in order to get to day number 3, you could scroll to the bottom, but a little shortcut, click on day number 3 and bookmark. It'll take you straight there. So remember to write your goal for today. What is your goal? What do you want to accomplish? Go ahead, fill that in right now. Hit the video on pause if you need to. And then the next essential question is, what does it take to solve problems? You'll eventually answer your question right here. As far as watching the Design Squad video now, this is the main activity for today. It's already linked into your design notebook, and so you can just either click on the text here or just the icon and you'll get the same thing. And by clicking on it, it'll take you to the video. It's about a 25-minute video, and so take time to answer it or to watch it. But before you start watching, I encourage you to look at the questions first. That'll give you an idea what to look for, and then maybe when you come across an answer while watching, you can pause the video, come back here and answer. Otherwise, it gets to be a lot of questions to try remembering all at once at the very end. So if we look through these questions, what's the goal of the challenge? What research did the teams do? Both of those are inquiring and analyzing, and your answers will go over here. For developing ideas, it's what methods did the teams use to develop their ideas? How did they find their ideas or come about their plan? Identify the safety measures they used to prevent accidents and or injuries. For creating the solution, the main activity, building all of that, it's what materials did they use? And then give 2 examples of how the teams changed their plan from their initial idea. So whatever they originally come up with, you're going to see that they end up making changes. It doesn't work as planned, and so they have to go back and make changes. Be specific with what did they have to change and in their design process. And then what skills did the Design Squad need to create their designs? And then the last 3 questions are evaluating, where you're reflecting on the success of the project, and in this case, were the team successful in the challenge? Why or why not? Why did the judge choose the winning team? And lastly, explain whether you agree with the judge's decision or not. So go into detail. Don't just say, yes, I agree with the judge, or no, I disagree. Give reasons why. So that's after watching the Design Squad video. And then the last thing you need to do before concluding your design notebook are answering the conclusion questions. So just take a mental break if you need to in between, but then jump right into the conclusion questions. Share an example of when you use the design process outside of school. How will you give proof to your teacher of using the design process? What is one example of success that you had during this design notebook? What was the most challenging part from this design notebook? You've had 3 days to do this. What was most challenging? What's the purpose of using the design process? And lastly, here's the evaluating rubric. And so by using the rubric here, there's a link, and you're going to see how you're graded, not only in this design notebook, but all of the design notebooks throughout the semester for Criterion D evaluating. So anytime you have evaluating questions, this is how you're being graded. So take a look at, if you're trying to get a 7 or an 8, what needs to be done. So you need to develop correct and complete answers to all of the conclusion questions, and use content-specific vocabulary, complete sentences, and then the big part, I think, is justifying it with specific evidence. So talk about whether it's the design squad video, the notes we take in this situation, but the activities we do, you need to justify it with our activities, with our evidence and proof. So as you look at this rubric, you should get an idea of how you're going to be graded. So I want you to answer, if you're the teacher right now, what grade would you give yourself on the answers you've written in up above here based on this rubric? Okay? So once you're done with that, you are done with your first design notebook, and you can submit it.